morning. Hopefully everyone's had a wonderful week. And just, today I must admit, with everything going on again with our COVID cases picking up, which I know is trying us all here, it's really important to remind ourselves what we're grateful for. So this morning I had a lovely cup of tea with Doug and Angus, and I said to everybody, okay, what are you grateful for today? And what is your intention? So it's a good day. It's a good way to keep focus for the day and to appreciate, those small things, of course. And my small thing this morning was having a cup of tea with my family. Anyway, we've got a good summary of, over the last 18 months, what's been going on in the luxury market. And we're just going to talk, as they say, talk story in Hawaii. So I'm going to share my screen here with you. And as you can see, we talk about a lot of statistics here on our morning talk on Fridays. And I thought this was a wonderful way to really summarize over the 18 months what we've seen. And I can talk about some of the things I saw, I've been seeing over the past month. Basically, if you go over to the left-hand side, February 2020 to August 2020, and then on the other side is February 2021 to August 2021. So at the start of the pandemic on the left side, in that 6-month period, we saw 73 sales. And let's compare that along the lines when we're in the midst of the pandemic, there was about 152. The market's been doing really well, of course. And now, as you can see, there's 258 luxury sales. And what we're taking is the luxury market right now is over $2 million. And I believe last month I'd mentioned that 48% of the sales in that luxury market were selling at full price or above. So very, very strong. Medium price, you have to be really careful, of course, once you get into the neighborhoods, those statistics can change quite a bit. Days on the market, again, you've seen the market, in the height of the pandemic, 114 days on the market. In between 89, it was still healthy, but now it's 67. And what we're seeing is there's been a few homes on the market for a year or maybe even 2 years, but we're actually seeing activity on those homes now. As certain homes sell and come off the market, then that allows those homes to sell oftentimes. But of course, what you have to keep in mind, there's new inventory, not a lot of new inventory, but that new inventory could take away from a buyer for a property that was expecting that buyer to go to their house. So you have to be sensitive. You sometimes think, oh, well, once these two houses sell, then mine should sell, my listing should sell. Not necessarily. People will wait. We're in one of these markets, yes, there's a lot of activity, but I believe buyers do wait until the right opportunity comes along. And that's what I'm seeing right now. What else I'm seeing with buyers and marketing properties, you will get top dollar for your property in this market if you can find the right buyer. So it's really important with a real estate professional that they look at who is my buyer for this property and how much will they pay for this property. That's very, very important because I've seen properties maybe get 30 to 40% more because they attracted a certain buyer who saw the value in that property versus another buyer who may not. Price per square foot, as you can see, it's gone up at the beginning of the pandemic. It was $990 a square foot. Today, $1032 a square foot. Again, this is overall, not always the case in every market. What I am seeing generally in the luxury market right now, you probably are averaging $941 a square foot, which was in the middle of the pandemic. But you go to the condo market, which we'll discuss later, and like for instance, oceanfront units, which are smaller, they may get $2,500 a square foot, and then units at the back of the building might get $1,000 a square foot. Again, knowledge is power, as they say. List price to sales price, as you can see, in the start of the pandemic was about a little under 93% at 92.8%. And today you're right there at 98.8%. So it's strong. I don't see this market slowing down. I do see buyers still being picky with what they want. You do have to the normal things of showing a property well, making sure maintenance issues have been addressed before properties come on the market. It's very, very important. If a client wants to get top dollar, and that's of course everyone does want to get top dollar. We had a sell this week, and we've been on the market, I think it was about 9 months, but the price of that property went up 20%, and we had listed it at way above what the market was telling us, because the client said, well, we want to sell the property, but if we don't, that's okay. Of course, we consulted with them and said, well, we'll try, but that's not always the case. But as the marketing time, every week we thought, wow, that property is sold. Wow, that property is sold. Inventory is going down. Maybe we have a possibility. So we kept tabs on the market on a daily basis, just a bit like the stock market, actually. And then we were fortunate enough with our marketing efforts to find the right buyer, and boom, we were able to sell for the price our client wanted. Had to wait a little bit, but it happened. So very important, again, know that market. Percentage of list price to sales price, as you can see, 46.5%. So very, very strong. Some of the other things we're seeing right now that I've seen come across my desk with our agents is, creative financing still. People are selling one home to get into another. And we have some excellent mortgage brokers that have been on our show and getting creative. We're seeing basically the large families are moving back into homes together. We've had quite a few in our larger listings where the multi-families are definitely looking for that big house again, which wasn't always the case. Now let's go over to the condo market now. The condo market, remember, got really hit by the pandemic when it started. As you can see, the number of sales there on the left-hand side were 25. Today it's 60 sales. And we do see that even getting bigger, that people are definitely going from the single family homes to the condominiums because of the price of homes. And some of the condominiums are just wonderful. If somebody was to buy a 3-bedroom luxury condo, probably, they still get some very large condos out there. And, people are really taking a serious look at that again. Right now. During the pandemic, they weren't, because of course you couldn't really go out your door as much. You couldn't use the common facilities. But now you can, but maybe you can't. We're in a flux right now, as we all know. But I think long-term people are going back to the condominiums. Keep in mind too, these statistics for the condominiums, we do not have our Asian market back here yet. The Asian market, definitely they're buying some of the new projects that are on the internet, but the resale market, very limited right now. And next week, we're going to be talking about where the buyers internationally are coming from. So don't miss that. Anyway, the median price has gone down as of today, but again, you have to look at the building. All that means is, we've been talking about some of the luxury buildings, and you have that $10 million sale that will skewer that median price, of course. Days on market's an important number here. As you can see, it's the lowest days on the market right now. And I do see that going down. What I'm seeing is definitely there's a few condos out there that are still some good buys. One, I believe I mentioned this last week, one of our agents, I still can't believe what the price she got for one of the luxury buildings out there for her client. But there are still some good buys, and those units generally have been on the market over a year and they're ready to sell. But the market's definitely showing an upward line of going up with the condo. So if you're thinking about buying a condo, please call us or talk to your realtor and ask them, what's going on? Where's the best buys right now? Because I do see the condominium markets start to surge in the prices. Again, the sales price to list price is 96% as of today. And what you see there is not a huge difference from when the pandemic started. Relatively, you'll see the prices have adjusted since the pandemic down, but now they're going to start to go back up. So very important we keep tabs on that. And this is really important too. Like we'll be putting a luxury condo on the market here, I believe in October, with a magnificent view. And I'm looking at these numbers, I'm looking at what other buildings are selling for, and they're all the factors that we, look at before we put a list price on a property coming on the market. Very important. And of course, one of the things we do is go in there. Do we need to paint, carpet, stage? Who's our buyer? How's our marketing material going to be looking? So many facets that really what we're known for here with our concierge service at Columbia Realty. And we love doing the full package so our clients just walk out, they see their home, they find the right buyer, and they get the money they want, of course. Anyway, on that note, we're going to change to Marianne's photos for the week, and gorgeous photos of flowers. She's ended the week for us with aloha flowers and orchids. I know certain orchids are coming into bloom again, which we're enjoying in our home right now. The red bromelias, which are just fantastic, the vibrance of their color. And the water lilies, always beautiful. And she calls this the exotic Waimea Valley Beauty. So absolutely stunning with the pinks and oranges and greens. And plumerias, of course, which we have an abundance here on the islands. Anyway, until next week, aloha. Thank you for joining us today. And I hope we provided some insight with the market today and moving forward. Aloha.